Hi friends, on this video I am going to discuss some easy tricks and tips to learn the mechanism of hormone action and the classification of hormone. Welcome to Dr. Ashish Conceptuals. Let's go to the topic details. So what exactly is a hormone? Hormone is a chemical structure that will be secreted by some glands that is known as endocrine glands, and these hormone molecules that will be released into our bloodstream, and through the blood it will be spreading all over our body, and it will be acting on a specific target organ to produce its action. What exactly is a hormone? Actually, hormone is a chemical molecule that is secreted by endocrine gland, and it is released into the blood. And what happens? It will be going through all our body, and when it is reaching its target organ, it will be binding over the target organ and it will produce its effect. We have to learn that how that hormones are acting specifically on that target organ. You can see in this figure here, you can see there is a hormone secreting cell is here. From the hormone secreting cell, the hormones are released into the bloodstream, so it will be spreading all over the body through that bloodstream, and when it is reaching the target cell, it will be binding on some specific receptors. Can you see? But it will be binding on some specific receptors on the target cell, and it will produce its action here. To learn the mechanism of action, let's see how the receptors and the hormones are interacting. On this figure, you can see a receptor here, and this is a schematic diagram for a receptor for you. And what will happen? There will be a hormone will be coming. This is a hormone molecule, and what will happen to the hormone? This hormone molecule is coming through the blood, and this hormone molecule will go and bind with the receptor here. So this is the binding site of that hormone, and you can see that hormone is binded over that receptor here. And this molecule here, can you see this molecule here? That will be making a hormone receptor complex. So the formation of the hormone receptor complex is the first step in mechanism of hormone action. To understand further about the mechanism of hormone action, you have to know where exactly is that receptors are situated. You have to know that the hormone receptor will be situated only on the target organ of that hormone, and actually in every cell of the target organ there will be the receptors are situated. So let's see a cell, and let's see where that receptors are situated over the cell. In this figure you can see a cell here, and you can see there are two receptors are there. One receptor, you can see this is the first receptor I am talking about. The receptors are situated is on the cell membrane. Can you see? This is the cell membrane bound receptor. This receptor is present on the cell membrane. And the second receptor here I am marking here, this is the second receptor that is present inside the cell. We'll be calling it as an intracellular receptor, intracellular, or more of the time it is present over the nucleus, so we can call also as intranuclear receptors. So basically there are two kinds of receptor. The first one is a cell membrane bound receptor, and second one is the intracellular or intranuclear receptor. And you have to understand that some of the hormones will come and bind on the cell membrane bound receptor to act, and some other hormones will be binding over the intracellular or intranuclear receptor. So my question is that why there is a difference? Why some hormones are binding on the cell membrane bound receptors and some other hormones are binding on the intracellular or intranuclear receptor? In my last video I was discussing about that cell membrane, and I have discussed that how that cell membrane permeability is influencing the hormone action. I told you that some of the hormones are permeable for that cell membrane. What that means? Some hormones can penetrate through the cell membrane and it can go inside the cell, and some other hormones it cannot go into the cell. It will not be it will be impermeable for the cell. I have already told you that. So which type of molecule will be binding on the intracellular receptor? You have to see that the intracellularly binding hormones, they will be membrane permeable. They will be membrane permeable receptor hormones will be there. Why there is a difference in hormones like that? Some hormones are binding only on cell membrane bound receptors, and some other hormones are binding only on the intracellular or intranuclear receptor. Why there is a difference? You have to understand this difference is arising due to the difference in permeability of that cell membrane. You know that some of that molecules, that cell membrane is impermeable. Some of the molecules, the cell membrane is impermeable. What that means? So if that impermeable molecule will be coming to that cell membrane, what will happen? It cannot cross that cell membrane, but some other molecule, the cell membrane will become permeable. So in my last video about the cell membrane, I have discussed the basic of the permeability that depends upon that lipid solubility and water solubility. So if you haven't watched that video, please go and watch the video about the cell membrane. I have told about whenever there is an impermeable hormone is coming, the hormone cannot enter the cell. So how the hormone will be acting? The hormone should bind on that receptor which is present on that cell membrane. Are you understanding? And if the cell membrane is permeable for the particular hormone, that hormone can cross the cell membrane, it can go and bind on the intracellular receptor here. So let's see how each type of receptors will be producing their effects on the cell. So first of all, we'll be discussing about the action of permeable hormones, cell membrane permeable hormones. So I told you these hormones are permeable to the cell membrane because it is lipid soluble molecule. So what will happen? It will be coming and entering the cell here, and this hormone will be binding on the receptor which is present intracellularly or intranuclearly here. So we can see this is the nucleus of the cell here, and I have magnified the nucleus image for our explanation here. So this is also the nucleus. I am showing only the nucleus. So I told you the permeable hormone will enter the cell, enter the nucleus, and it will bind on the receptor which is present on the intranuclear space, and it will form a hormone receptor complex, where the hormone receptor complex are formed inside the cell because the hormone is permeable for the cell. Are you understanding? Okay. So where this hormone receptor complex is actually formed, it is formed inside the nucleus, and inside the nucleus you know that there is a genetic material or DNA is present, and all of our genes are present of this DNA there. So what will happen? The hormone receptor complex formation on that DNA or inside that nucleus, it will activate some genes, and what will happen? That part of the gene, it will be getting transcribed and it will form an mRNA. You have studied that part in the genetics. And what will happen to the mRNA? The mRNA will be converted into a protein. And what will happen to this protein here? This protein will produce the effect, whatever the desired effect, that effect will be produced by the protein here. And this is how every cell membrane permeable hormones are acting. So it will directly come inside the cell, it will directly go inside the nucleus, and it will activate a gene. It will transcribe the gene into mRNA and to the protein, and protein will give the effect, or we can we can write it, it is like a physiological effect will be produced. Just imagine that if the hormone which is coming to act over the cell is impermeable to the cell membrane, impermeable. So what will happen if that impermeable hormone is coming? What will happen? Can this hormone can get entry into the cell? No, it cannot go inside because it is impermeable hormone. So what this hormone will try? The hormone will come and it will be binding over the receptor which is present on the surface of the cell membrane, or it is a cell membrane bound receptor. So let's discuss how the cell membrane bound receptor is producing its effects. So in this figure, you can see that this is a cell I am depicting, and this is the lipid bilayer cell membrane structure here. And this area, it is outside of the cell, and this is the inside of the cell. And you can see this is the nucleus of the cell here. Can you see this is the nucleus of the cell? So what will happen? A impermeable hormone, that is a cell membrane impermeable hormone, it is coming and it is trying to bind on the cell membrane here. And how it will be acting? It will come and it will bind over that membrane bound receptor. Why it is binding over the membrane bound receptor? Can it go inside the cell? Can this hormone molecule can go inside the cell? Because it cannot go inside. Why it cannot go inside? Because it is a water soluble molecule, and the cell membrane is not permeable for water soluble molecule. It will bind on that cell membrane and it will produce a hormone receptor complex on that cell membrane here. So what the hormone receptor complex will do is that the hormone receptor complex will produce some other type of molecule into that cell. Like examples of that molecule, one is known as a cyclic AMP, that is CAMP, and something is calcium 2 plus ions, something that is known as inositol 3-phosphate. We will be writing it as IP3. So this kind of some molecules will be produced into the cell, and all this molecule is known as a secondary messenger. These are known as what? A secondary messenger will be produced. And actually you have to know that this hormone, whatever the hormone will be coming, it is known as a primary messenger. And when the primary messenger is coming, the primary messenger is impermeable to the cell membrane, so it will bind on a receptor which is present on the membrane. So this is the membrane bound receptor, and the hormone receptor complex is forming some secondary messengers like a cyclic AMP, calcium 2 plus ions, and inositol 3-phosphate. And what these secondary messengers will do, secondary messenger will straight away, I will show the secondary messengers using a different color. The secondary messenger straight away will go and bind on that genes or receptors which is present inside the nucleus, and it will activate the gene. Same way the gene will be converted into mRNA, and the mRNA will be converted into a protein, and this protein will produce what? This protein will produce the physiological effects there. From this discussion you can understand that there are two kinds of hormones are there. One kind of hormones are membrane permeable hormones. They will directly come and act on that genes. It will produce the physiological effect. And the cell membrane impermeable hormone directly coming, binding onto membrane bound receptors, producing the secondary messengers, and indirectly it will be activating the gene and it will produce the physiological effects there. Now let's study which all hormones are binding over that cell membrane bound receptors and which all are binding on the intracellular receptor. To know this thing, you should have a basic idea about the classification of hormone. And let's discuss the classification of hormone, and let's discuss an easy method to classify every hormones here. So this is the basic classification of hormone, and we will classify every hormone into 4 groups are there. By studying this thing, you can easily classify any hormone you know into any of these 4 groups, and you can predict the mechanism of action of that hormones also. So which are the classification of the hormone? That is, a first group is known as protein or polypeptide hormones. That is that largest group. You have to know it is the largest group. And the second group is the amino acid derivative. Third group is the iodothioronins, and fourth group is the steroid hormones. And I told you there is an easiest way to study this hormones classification. How that is that easiest way? I'll be telling, like, do not study the protein or polypeptide hormone. We do not have to study this thing. Why? I'll be discussing. So we'll be discussing amino acid derivatives, iodothioronins, and steroid hormones first, and finally I'll be coming to the protein or polypeptide hormones. The first group of hormone I'm going to discuss is amino acid derivatives, and it is very easy to study. Why it is very easy to study? Because there is only one hormone which is a derivative of amino acid. Which is that hormone? All the hormone which is produced by this gland here and this part of the gland, which is the gland which is shown in this figure, that is your adrenal gland. And we can see that the inner part of the adrenal gland, what is that known as? Adrenal medulla. And only the adrenal medullary hormones are the amino acid derivatives. So which all are that hormones of the adrenal medulla? Your favorite hormone, that is your adrenaline and noradrenaline. So these are the only hormone which is formed from an amino acid. You have to study adrenaline and noradrenaline, and this is derived from an amino acid that is known as tyrosine. It is known as what? Tyrosine. Tyrosine is that amino acid which is forming the adrenaline and noradrenaline. So one group is over already, because there is only one hormone, adrenal medullary hormone, adrenaline and noradrenaline, which is formed from tyrosine. So let's discuss the next group of hormones here. So the next group of hormones, it is known as iodothioronins. And again, it is very easy. Why? Because only one gland it is producing iodothioronine, which is this gland here, that is your thyroid gland. And this thyroid gland hormones, you know that there are 2 thyroid gland hormones are there. In short, we'll call them as T3 and T4. What is the full form of T3 and T4? This T3 is known as triiodothyronine, and the T4 is known as what? Tetraiodothyronine. So you know that these 2 hormones are having that iodothyronine name in that hormone's name itself. So it will very easy. You have to remember that T3 and T4 are the iodothioronins. So I have discussed the second group also, the iodothioronins. Only 2 hormones in the iodothioronins, T3 and T4. And let's move to the next group of hormones. So the next group of hormone I want to discuss, it is that steroid hormones. Steroid hormone group is a bit larger group, and let's discuss that thing. And actually the steroid group of hormones, it will be having first of all this gland. What is that gland here? We already told, that is adrenal gland. But I told you the adrenal medullary hormones are coming under the amino acid derivatives. So there is some part it is remaining here, that is outer part of the adrenal gland, that is the adrenal cortex. The adrenal cortical hormones are coming under the steroid hormone heading. And you can see this is a male, and this is a male reproductive system, the gonads, the testis, that is producing a steroid hormone, and the female reproductive system, the ovaries, that is also producing a steroid hormone. So which all are that headings under the steroid hormone? You have to study that the steroid hormone heading, it will be having adrenal cortical hormone, adrenal cortex, one gland. Second gland is the testis, and the third gland you have to study is the ovary there. So all the hormones of the adrenal cortex and all the hormones of the testis and ovary are under the steroid hormone. So I will list out adrenal cortical hormone. Three are there. One is known as cortisol. Second one is known as aldosterone. And in the chapter of that chemical coordination and integration, I will discuss everything in detail: cortisol, aldosterone, and third one is known as sex corticoid. It is known as what? Sex corticoid. In testis, it is producing testosterone, and ovary will be producing two hormones that is known as estrogen and progesterone. So all these hormones are coming under which group? The steroid group there. So I will repeat once again: the adrenal cortical hormone, that is cortisol, aldosterone, and sex corticoids; testicular hormone, that is your testosterone; and from the ovary, your estrogen and progesterone. So all these hormones are coming under which group? The steroid hormones. So I hope you're remembering this thing here. And here comes the actual trick to remember this thing. So we are having the largest group. We didn't study that. But what we have done? We have studied three groups already, and we have discussed which all are the hormones which is coming under the three groups here. But I will be telling the easiest way to study the protein or peptide hormones are, you don't go and study all the other hormones which is not coming under that three groups. It is included in the protein or peptide hormone. For example, I'll be telling like pituitary hormones like FSH, LH, MSH, growth hormone, insulin. Are you understanding? Insulin, glucagon, PTH, parathyroid hormone, calcitonin, and one ovarian hormone like relaxin. Are you understanding that? I can write a lot of hormone, placental hormone like HCG, HPL. So I can write a lot of long list of hormones, and every hormone that is not discussed under the three groups we have studied are coming under the protein or polypeptide hormone. Are you understanding this thing? So I hope it is very easy to remember. I will summarize everything for you once again. So this is the classification of hormone. The protein hormone we will not study. Amino acid derivatives, there is only two hormone, that is your adrenaline, adrenal medulla, adrenaline, and noradrenaline will be. Iodothyronin are the thyroid hormone. I told you that is a T3 triiodothyronin, and the tetraiodothyronin will be coming. Steroid hormone, I told you about three glands. One gland is known as your adrenal cortex, all the hormones of the adrenal cortex, and the gonadal hormones, gonads hormone. Which are the gonadal hormone? Testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone coming under the steroid hormone, and all the other hormones are coming under which group? Protein or peptide hormone. I hope you are getting this thing. And let's discuss how can we use the classification of hormone to study that mechanism of hormone action here. You have to understand that the first two groups, which are the first two groups, the protein or polypeptide hormones and amino acid hormones, these two hormones are water soluble. These two hormones are what? Water soluble substances. And these, the last two one, the iodothyronin and the steroid hormones, they are what? They are lipid soluble substances. What is the importance of that? You have to understand that if a hormone is water soluble, it will be impermeable for the cell membrane. Impermeable for the cell membrane. So if it is impermeable for the cell membrane, how it will be acting? By acting on the membrane bound receptor, membrane receptor. Are you understanding? So if it is acting on the membrane receptor, how it will be producing its effect? By producing secondary messengers. Are you understanding? By producing secondary messengers. And if the iodothyronin and steroid hormones are coming, so there will be some lipid hormones. These are lipid hormones. And how that lipid hormones will be acting? They will be binding on the intracellular receptors or intranuclear receptor directly. Are you understanding? And it will be acting directly by producing the genetic effect. So let's summarize this thing on a previous diagram also. You can see that thing. This is a cell membrane bound receptor. Which type of molecules will be binding on that thing? There will be the protein hormones. All the hormone, protein or peptide hormones will be binding over this thing. And that second group of hormone it will be acting, that is your amino acid derivative. Amino acid derivatives will be binding here. And which all molecule will be binding on the intranuclear receptors? There are two, that is iodothyronins, and the other one is your steroid hormones will be binding here. So there are a lot of questions are coming from this area, so that they will give different kinds of question. And finally, let's discuss some of the question for your understanding of this concept here. Let us discuss some of the important types of MCQs that is asked from this area. So this is the first MCQ for you. So try to solve the MCQ before I solve here. Okay. So the question asks, which among the following hormone produce a secondary messenger? So you know that in order to produce a secondary messenger, which type of hormone it will be produced? Actually, water soluble or lipid soluble? Or I'll ask like membrane permeable or membrane impermeable hormone, which will be producing a secondary messenger. So you must know it will be a membrane impermeable hormone. So it cannot enter the cell, so it will produce a secondary messenger inside that thing. It will be membrane impermeable, so it must be a water soluble molecule here. So I have discussed the 4 groups of hormone or 4 classification of the hormone. Which among the 4 classes are water soluble? I told you the first class, that is a protein hormone, the largest group we didn't study, that is a water soluble, and the amino acid derivative. Which are the amino acid derivative? I told you that is your adrenaline and noradrenaline. They are the amino acid derivative. They are also water soluble here. So we have to find out which among the water soluble, impermeable, or which among the following is including in protein or amino acid derivative. So all these questions it can ask same way here. So let's find out that thing. First hormone, first option, they are giving like a testosterone. Testosterone, you know, that is produced by the gonads. That is produced by the testes. So it is produced by the gonads. All the gonadal hormones are what? Steroid hormones. You must know it is steroid. So cortisol, from where the cortisol is coming? Or aldosterone, from the aldosterone is coming. Both the cortisol and aldosterone is coming from adrenal cortex. It is from where? Adrenal cortex. All the adrenal cortical hormones are also what? Steroid hormones. And the fourth option is FSH. See that, did we discuss about the FSH in any of the list? I told you there are 4 lists are there: protein, amino acid derivative, and there will be steroid hormones, and there will be iodothyronins are there. And is there FSH discussed in any of the 3 lists we have studied? No, we didn't discuss. So you have to understand FSH is a protein hormone. I told you whichever the hormones we didn't study, they come under the protein or peptide group. And you have to know that all the protein hormones are water soluble. They are impermeable for cell membrane. They will act by producing the second messenger here. So what is your answer here for the question? Our answer for the question is FSH here. Okay. So let's go and discuss the next question for you. So this is the second question for you here. Question is, which of the following hormone binds on an intracellular receptor? If the hormone is going and binding on an intracellular receptor, what that means? The hormone must be permeable. It must be permeable for the cell membrane. Then only the hormone can go and bind on the intracellular receptor. Are you understanding? So which are the 2 groups of hormone which is coming under the permeable group? I told you one is your steroid hormones are permeable. This is the other group which is permeable, that is known as your iodothyronine. That is iodothyronine. Which is the iodothyronins? Iodothyronins are the T3 and T4, triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine. Steroid, I told you, gonadal hormones and adrenal cortical hormones are coming under the steroid group. So we have to find out this kind of hormone from the options here. So I told you about FSH. The first option is FSH. The FSH will not come under the steroid group. It will not come under the iodothyronine group. Also, it will not come under amino acid derivative group. So all these 3 groups, the FSH is not included. So which type of hormone is the FSH? I told you that is a protein hormone or peptide hormone. It will be there. And you can see the second option, that is relaxin. You have to know the relaxin is produced by the ovary. So I told you the steroid hormones, all the gonadal hormones are coming under the steroid hormone. But you have to know that the relaxin is an exception for that thing. Relaxin is also a peptide hormone. Actually, the steroid hormones which is coming from the gonads are, one is testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Only these 3 hormones are the steroid derivatives, but the relaxin is a protein hormone which is secreted by the ovary. So you must know this exception here. That's why I included this question under this discussion here. And the third hormone is estrogen. Who is producing the estrogen? You must know it is ovary, and you know that it is a steroid hormone. So if it is a steroid hormone, it is permeable for the cell membrane and it will bind on the intracellular receptor. So the answer for our question is estrogen here. For the completion sake, let's discuss the LH also. So is the LH is coming under any of these 3 groups we have discussed? No, it is not coming under. So the LH will be a protein hormone. Are you understanding? Protein hormone here. Okay, let's discuss the next question here. So this is another kind of MCQ that is coming for your exam. They will give a list of hormones and they will be asking you which among the following is coming under a particular type. Okay, so let's discuss that thing. In this question they are asking which among the following or how many of the following are a protein hormone here. So we have to find out the list of protein hormones. So let's discuss each of the hormone which is given here. Insulin. Is the insulin is coming under steroid hormone? No, it is not under the steroid hormone, because steroid hormone are adrenal cortical hormones and the gonadal hormones is not included here. And is it included under amino acid derivative? No, amino acid derivatives are your adrenaline and noradrenaline. Iodothyronine, they are triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine, that is not included. So insulin will be a protein hormone, you have to understand. And what about glucagon? Glucagon is also same way, it is not coming under the 3 list, so it will be also under the protein hormone list. So what about FSH? Also same way, it is not included in the 3 list, it is also a protein hormone. LH, we have to check the 3 lists. Which are the 3 lists? Amino acid derivatives, steroids and iodothyronines. No, not included, so it will be also a protein hormone. And the testosterone, where the testosterone is coming? Testosterone is coming from gonads, and you have to know all the gonadal hormones except the relaxin are steroid hormone. So the testosterone we cannot count in that list here. What is cortisol? The cortisol is an adrenal cortical hormone, right? It is an adrenal cortex hormone. So this adrenal cortex hormone, this is also a steroid hormone, so we cannot count that thing also. And what about adrenaline? You have to see now, there is an easiest method, another trick here to learn about adrenaline and noradrenaline. See the first 2 letters, A, D for adrenaline or the noradrenaline. What is this AD indicate? This is an amino acid derivative. Amino acid derivative. That is the word of full form of AD here. That is an amino acid derivative here. You can see this A and this D here. So that is also not coming under the protein hormone. So you can see the insulin, glucagon, FSH and LH are that protein hormone. So the answer is, they are asking how many. So the answer here will be coming as 4 here. Okay, so with that discussion I am completing that tricks to learn that mechanism of hormone action and the type of hormones. I hope you are understanding this thing, and it is very easy if you are understanding in a proper method. To understand more topics like conceptually like this, don't forget to subscribe my channel, and if you are having any doubts, don't forget to comment below on my comment box. Thank you for watching me. We will meet you with another video next week. Bye bye.